Good morning. We are going to Tequila today to get a tour of the distillery. And here with me, I have Ramsès. He's helping us today. We have my friend Liana, another couch surfer. So it's gonna be a whole day of tour with tequila, drinking tequila, learning the process of how the tequila is made. So it'll be a fun day. So Ramsès has been doing the tours for like about 4 years now, and he's been helping a lot of travelers get a very private kind of experiences in various tours. I'll post his website on this video so you can check it out. So Ramsès, how long is the drive from
downtown
Guadalajara to Tequila?
It's like 1 hour 20 minutes.
1 hour and 20 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, great. So it'll be a long ride, but hopefully you'll gather a lot of information before reaching to Tequila. Guadalajara and Mexico City are the cities that have the most software jobs. I've seen a lot of people, tech people work here. Some of the agave plants from which tequila is made. So Ramsès says that tequila was found in this town, El Arenal, a small town and close to Tequila. Then they named that big town as Tequila. Right. So they named the big town as Tequila, where we are going to. So this is a woman of Tequila.
Yeah.
It's just an icon, symbol. So we're still in El Arenal. So we are here at the distillery called Tres Mujeres. It's 3 women. So tequila is made from a plant which is called blue agave. I've seen that before. And there's also mezcal, which is made with different types of agave plant. But tequila is specifically made from a blue agave plant.
¿A qué hora se empiezan ustedes?
Desde las 9 de la mañana ya tenemos recorrido. Ajá.
Queremos un poco de inglés.
¿Sería en inglés? ¿De qué lado es? Ajá. De este lado. ¿Ustedes son los que hicieron?
No.
So they gave this blue handkerchief as a token of a ticket. So the tour will be in English, about 100 pesos per person. So it'll start in like 10 minutes.
Like 3 liters of tequila and soda.
3
And
liters
some
of
fruit.
tequila. These are called cantaritos, and this is how you serve people drinking tequila. All the cocktails as well. How long is the tour? You said?
It's like 1 hour.
1 hour?
But we will start in 10 minutes.
Tour lasts about 1 hour. Hopefully can get more details on how and why is it called tequila. Yeah, I want to know the meaning of tequila. If they can
Maybe
tell
they
me,
know.
that will be good. So this is the blue agave plant. Spiky. So Beto is our tour guide here, and Tres Mujeres.
Hi everyone, I'm gonna get your guy over here kind of drunk, so
Yeah, yes.
get ready.
Getting drunk today, early morning.
Just a normal thing here in Mexico, well, here in Jalisco.
No, en México también.
Well, yeah, in the whole of Mexico. Oh, hi everyone, welcome to Tres Mujeres. This is our tequila factory. It's mostly traditional. We still do it the old ways. Well, yeah, I would like first to start with asking where are you from, because the ones that are from further away take an extra shot at the degustation. So who'd like to start?
Oh, I'm from Australia.
Oh, you're from
No,
Australia?
I'm just joking.
You should,
I'm American.
So where are you guys from? What?
The Netherlands.
The Netherlands? All of you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you guys?
La India.
India and
Philadelphia, United
Philadelphia?
States.
I think India is further away, so
Yeah.
you'll take the extra shot.
Thank
So
you.
You already won a prize. Okay,
I'm
guys,
getting the
so-
extra shot.
What about me for being the only woman?
Well, let's do it for her as well. One extra for her as well. Okay, guys, so have you got any idea of anything related to tequila or anything about the process, or just the drinking part?
Just learned that
Just what we learned from
this
him.
is the plant.
Just
that,
the plant or
yeah,
just the basics?
plant.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. As you may know, well, to get tequila, we have to get this plant from here, okay? This is called an agave azul. Well, the scientific name will be Agave Azul Tequilana Huevo, all right? There are around 207 varieties of agaves in Mexico, but to make an tequila and label it as one, we need to get it from this species, okay? The reproductive cycle is really simple. Once the plant reaches about 5 to 6 years old, it's gonna start to reproduce by itself throughout something called hijuelos, all right, which will translate pretty much to little children. And one example that we have of those hijuelos would be something like this one. As you can see, it's just gonna be a little mini agave that's gonna start growing around the main plant, okay? What we do with these hijuelos, well, we can have around 5 to 6 from this yearly. And what we do with them is just simply take them off the soil and plant them somewhere else, okay? Because they could take some of the nutrients from the main plant and not let it grow to its fullest potential, okay? So what we're going to do is just take them off, all right? This is how we maintain an agave production. How do we know that our plant is ready to be harvested? Well, once the plant reaches about 6 to 7 years old, the flower is going to start coming from the middle of the plant, from the center. And this flower is really similar to a sugar cane, but it has a little flower at the top. And as the same with the hijuelos, we're just gonna cut it off. And what we can do with it is just cook it, and so we can eat it up, okay? It has a really earthy flavor to it. And well, some people say it's kind of sweet. I haven't tried it myself. I don't really like it, but yeah, I mean, some people say it's really good, okay? So once we cut off this flower, which is called quiote, once we cut the quiote, the plant is almost ready to be harvested, okay? We still need one extra step, which is called jima. The jima consists in, these special workers called jimadores. What they're gonna do is with this special tool, which is called coa. It's really similar to a spear, but with a much wider blade. What they're gonna do is just push all of the leaves down and cut them off one by one, okay? Doing this motion with the coa. The leaves are called pencas, and what we do with them is when we cut them off is just leave them laying on the ground so that they can function as a fertilizer, okay? For the next batch of agaves. As I was saying, we're just gonna simply cut them off one by one, and we need to be kind of careful because it's really risky because the coa is really sharp, so we need to be careful with your food, okay? Once we cut all of the leaves, all of the pencas, and we have only the heart of the plant, now it's ready to be taken off the soil, okay? This, by this point, we're gonna start to call it piña because it's really similar to pineapple. So yeah, these piñas can weigh up to 130 kilos, so they can get really, really big. So in order for us to take them off the soil, sometimes we need to get these tractors or bulldozers or big machinery, so we can even take them off the ground, okay? So once we get get them off the ground, they're ready to be transported to the factories where they continue the process of making a tequila. Okay, guys, have we got any doubts up so far?
Yes. Why is it called tequila, and what's the meaning of tequila?
Well, I don't know if there's a special meaning to it, to the word, but I think it came from the language, from the natives that were from around this area, but I'm not quite sure of the meaning of the word.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nahuatl?
Huh?
Nahuatl, the language?
I don't think it was Nahuatl,
Oh,
no,
okay.
but the natives from this area were the Purepeches. I think they're the ones that were mostly around this area. But yeah, I think it's a word from them, but I'm not sure. So I don't want to lie to you.
We'll find out later.
Have we got any other doubts, guys?
How big is the plant when it's ready to be harvested?
It can reach heights of around like a meter and a half, a meter and 60 centimeters. Well, yeah, pretty much a meter and a half. The ones that let them grow about 9 years old or 8 years old can get around to 2 meters. So sometimes they get really, really big. Okay guys, welcome to the oven section. As you can see here in Tres Mujeres, we use 3 ovens, alright? Oven 1 and 2 have a capacity of up to 30 tons, and oven 3, which is a bit smaller, has a capacity of only 15 tons. Okay, but how do these ovens work? Well, once we fill them up to the top, we're gonna use those metallic doors that you can see over there to seal these ovens, alright? As you can see, we even use some clay and some mud, and even some of the fibers that we get from the agave once we continue with the process, to give it a bit of a tighter seal, so not as much of the steam that we use to cook it starts to leak, all right? As I said, we're gonna send some steam at around 98 degrees Celsius through those pipes over there, and this steam is what's gonna cook the plants, okay? Well, we use steam and not other method because steam actually is gonna cook the plant from the inside out, and what this is gonna do is keep most of the juices on the inside of the plants so they don't go to waste or start running on the floor and pretty much just go to waste. Okay, this process takes 48 hours, and once these 2 days have passed, we still need to wait another 24 hours in order for the plant to cool down and for us to be able to handle it with our hands. Okay, so this process takes in total 3 days. Once the 3 days passes, we're gonna use that transporter van over there to use the hook piñas to that destroyer machine over there, okay? This machine just pretty much works as a mill. What it's gonna do is just squeeze all of the fibers and just pretty much separate all of the juices from those fibers, okay? As you can see, it's kind of old right now, but we still use it. It still works fine, all right? As you can see, we're just gonna throw all of the piñas in this part over here, and we're just gonna send it through those vans, through some roller blades that are gonna just really mush it down and squeeze all of these juices. And once all of the fibers, once we remove all of the juices, you can see all of the fibers over there, okay? These fibers, we use them here in Tres Mujeres to, we just pretty much use them as a fertilizer for our camps, for our plantation fields. And other people give it another uses. It's a really coarse fiber. Sometimes people use it for making bricks. There's a building material here in Mexico which is called adobe, and this adobe can sometimes use some fiber, all right? And one fiber can be gabazo, okay? This is the name we give it after we remove all of the juices. So once we get all of these juices, they are gonna start crumbling from this pipe over here, and they're gonna end up in that receptor tub over there. Over there, we're gonna need, over there takes place a really crucial step, because over there we're gonna measure the level of sugars, okay? If you'd like to join me, we can take a look over there. If we just take a run. So over here, guys, we're gonna have pretty much like a sample of all of the juices that we get from that batch. And over here, as I was saying, we're gonna measure the level of sugars, okay? I was saying that this is a really important step because from this step, it's gonna depend if we continue with the process of making a tequila or if we give it another purpose, okay? That would happen here in Tres Mujeres. We needed to have a measure between 12 to 16 Brix degrees, which is the degrees in which we measure sugar. And what's gonna happen if it doesn't reach the minimum required? Well, as I was saying, we're gonna give it another purpose. The other purpose would be, pretty much making it a syrup, an agave syrup, which pretty much works as a honey replacement. And that would be what we do here, okay? another companies can continue with the process of making a tequila, but they wouldn't be able to label it as an 100% agave tequila, okay? This would be pretty much mixed tequila, and we don't really recommend those, and even less for tourists, because as the mixture doesn't reach the minimum required of sugars, they need to add even more, okay? Some extra sugars, a sugar cane, or something that we have here in Mexico called piloncillo, or even some corn fructose. So they end up adding more sugars, and what's gonna happen is, as people tend to drink their tequilas with Coca-Cola or stuff like that, they add even more sugar and they get really dehydrated. So what's gonna happen is, the morning after you're gonna have the worst hangover of your life, so you don't wanna go through it, okay? Trust me, I've been there, so don't really recommend it. So always make sure when you buy a bottle of tequila that it says 100% agave, alright? Just so we know that you're not gonna get a hangover. So once we realize that it has a proper amount of sugar, we can continue with the next step, which would be fermentation. Okay guys, welcome to the fermentation room. As you can see, there are these tanks over there, and these tanks is where the fermentation is going to take place, okay? These fermentations have a capacity of between 9 tons to up to 12 tons, okay? What's going to be happening here is just a really simple procedure. Bacteria is just going to eat up all of the sugars I previously mentioned, and throughout this eating, we're going to get these alcohols, okay? It's going to give us 2 types of alcohol. Sadly, it's not only going to give us ethylic alcohol, which is the one we use for drinking and rubbing alcohol. It's also going to give us methanol as a byproduct. I don't know if you've heard about methanol, but if you were to drink that, I mean, you could go blind, you could go crazy, you could use a limb. And I mean, bottom line, we don't want any of the methanol in our tequila, okay? So we need to get rid of it. But first of all, we need to get all of our juices fully fermented, okay? As I was saying, this bacteria is going to be eating up all of the sugars. This process can take up to a week, but with colder temperatures, as the ones we're having right now, it can take up to 2 weeks, all right? By this point, we would need to add an extra yeast, which is going to help the bacteria to accelerate their reaction, okay? This process, as I was saying, takes up to a week, but how do we know that it's fully fermented? Well, once it's fully fermented, once this 7-8 days happen, we're gonna realize that a really thick foam layer is gonna start to form in the surface of our tank, and this is how we know that it's fully fermented, okay? By this point, we're gonna start to call our mixture mosto muerto, all right? The mosto muerto are the juices that are really fully fermented. Once we have the mosto muerto, we're gonna drain the tanks through some filters that we have at the bottom, and with a hose, we're gonna send all of the mixture, all of the mosto muerto, to this tank over here, all right? Which is called destrozador, or destroyer, which pretty much is just gonna get rid of all of this methanol, okay? But how is that gonna happen? Well, it's just really simple. I don't know if you remember when you were in school and they told you about the process of how rain forms and stuff like that. I mean, all of this evaporation and all of this, okay? Well, we're just pretty much gonna recreate that process over here. We're just gonna simply take advantage of methanol having a lower boiling temperature. And with a furnace that we have at the back, we're just gonna heat this tank up to 150 degrees Celsius. And we're gonna boil up all of this methanol, okay? The methanol is gonna boil, it's gonna go at the top part over there, where it's gonna condensate, and it's gonna go through the yellow pipes, ending up at a tank that we have at the back, where we store all of this methanol so we can sell it to a company that can use it as a fuel, okay? Once we get rid of all of this methanol, we're gonna turn up the temperature to 125 degrees Celsius, and the same thing's gonna happen with the ethylic alcohol. But instead of going through the yellow pipes, it's gonna come down through the green pipes that you can see over here, into a tank that is usually here, but right now it's currently being washed, so it's over there. All right, and over here we will have the ordinary product, okay? Right here we would have something that you can drink that wouldn't get you killed, but that will get you wasted straight away, okay? Because in the ordinary tank, we will have a drink of 58% of alcohol, so you can only imagine what would happen if you were to drink. I mean, you want to get to party, not get drunk straight away, okay? So we need to reduce all of these extra degrees. Here at the mujeres, our tequilas have 38% of alcohol, so how do we lower down those degrees? Well, it's real simple. We're just simply gonna add some biodistillated water, okay? Which doesn't have any organoleptic characteristics. The biodistillated water is just simply gonna reduce all of these extra degrees to the 38 that we use here, but without affecting any of the flavors or the smells or the textures of our tequila, okay? Once this process happens and our tequila has 38%, it's already, well, it's ready to be bottled up. That we actually bottle them up in that room over there. And this would be a tequila blanco, which is ready to be drank, okay? This tequila is the one that is mostly used for like mixology, for like preparing drinks and stuff like that. And this is because it's a really easy tequila to mix with other types of flavor, because as it doesn't go through any aging processes, well, the flavor remains really, really pure, okay? I don't know if when we were by the ovens, you got a smell of this toasted agave smell. Well, this is what we want a tequila blanco to taste, okay? Alright guys, welcome to our tavern. As you can see, we have here mostly a graphic representation of how we used to make tequila back in the day. Okay, right now I'm gonna tell you all the tale of how they say tequila was discovered. Alright, this happened between the 1400s, 1500s, even before the conquistadors came, before the Spanish came. And well, the natives from this area were called the Purépechas, and back then agave used to be a wild plant, okay, which used to grow around the region. It didn't used to grow as big as our domesticated plant from nowadays, but it used to reach a substantial size, okay? And well, they say that this rainy night, it was really stormy and with a lot of clouds and a roll of rain. And well, they say that an actual lightning bolt struck an agave plant, okay? And this was the, well, this worked as a cooking process. This cooked all of the agave and also cracked it, leaving all of the juices running, okay? And the people from back then saw this as a sign from the gods, and they were like, oh my God, what happened? What was that? And saw all of the juices running, and they, I mean, you know how curious people were back then? I mean, they tried toads to get high. So I mean, they were gonna try the juices, okay? And they were like, oh, let's try them. And they were like feeling tingly, they would start to party, they were feeling good. And they thought to themselves, oh my God, I really like this. How can we recreate this? And well, they end up designing an oven like that one that we have over there, and a really pretty much a rustic oven. What they would do is just pretty much dig up a hole on the ground and use a lot of volcanic rock as an oven. They would use this volcanic rock because volcanic rock has the characteristics of absorbing a lot of heat and keeping it for a long time, okay? So they would just pretty much dig up this hole, throw a lot of volcanic rock, throw a lot of firewood, and just light it up on fire, okay? They will let the fire consume all of the wood, and just this fire rock absorb all of this fire. And they would just, once all of this fire consumed the wood, they would throw all of the piñas, and they would just leave it for a week in order for it to cook. And once this week had passed, they would have the designated piña collector, okay? And this used to be the nastiest and filthiest person from the village, because they thought that this person's dirtiness was actually gonna help fermentate the juices that were already cooked, okay? And also added some extra flavor to the mixture, but hey, anything for alcohol, all right? And well, once the conquistadors came and brought all of these animals like horses and donkeys and stuff like that, I mean, they could create stuff like this, which is called taona, all right? The taona is mainly that rock over there, which can weigh up to 100, I think 30 pounds, 30 tons, I'm sorry. And yeah, it would just work really simple. They would just put all of the cooked piñas on the inner circle and just put an animal to spin it around. Something funny started to happen by this age, and it was that a lot of people tended to prefer donkeys for doing this job. And well, it's been discovered recently that there's a special bacteria in donkey pees that is really good at eating up all of the sugars and transforming them into alcohols. So yeah, I mean, the donkey, well, the animal's not gonna ask for permission to go to the bathroom, okay? It's just gonna go and do all of these things around the taona. So it started mixing up with the juices, and well, it started to fermentate and also added some extra flavor. But don't worry about it, guys. The tequila I'm gonna give you later doesn't have any donkey piss on it, okay? Okay, guys, welcome to the underground cava. This is one of the largest of the region, okay? This allows us to store up to 5,000 barrels, and each barrel has a capacity of up to 500 liters, okay? Sadly, we're not gonna get the whole thing back. As you know, wood tend to absorb liquids, and tequila is not the exception, okay? As you can see, some barrels start to look a bit, well, deformed, some, well, bad looking. This is because the barrel is gonna start absorbing some of the tequila, and well, with the absorption, it's gonna start to, well, bend and even absorb and even, well, pretty much start to look bad, okay? We actually reuse those barrels, and this is why they start to look bad with time, okay? They have a life of up to 25 years, and each and every single one of these barrels is made from oaken wood, okay? We have 3 different varieties. We have white American oak, white French oak, and, white Canadian oak, okay? We only use oaken wood because we've realized with time that oaken wood is the type of wood that gives us the flavors that we want the most in a tequila, okay? If you're wondering how do we identify the barrels, as you can see, most of them have 3 numbers. The number on the left means how many barrels start being aged on that batch, and the number on the right means on what year. As you can see, most of the barrels are from this year or from last year, all right? Well, from last year. We're in 2023 now. And as you can see in those flyers over there, you can see some pictures, and those pictures are the reason of the name of the factory. Okay, they are the Tres Mujeres, which means 3 women, and they are the daughters of the owner of the company. Right? Actually, the one to the right on that picture is my boss, and she's single, guys. Okay? If any of you wants to take a shot at being a maestro tequilero, you can get this here. All right? Okay, guys. So if you'd like to continue, we can do that over here.
Ooh, I like all this.
Okay, guys, so you have a really pretty section for taking pictures. Right now we don't have a group behind us, so we can take our time taking pictures. If you would like me, I can help you with the pictures as well. If you want a group picture or something.